Saniyyah. We'll be talking about relationships today. With me today, I have Lydia. She will be talking about how she is married but rebuilding her relationship. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm great. I'm fantastic. Can you tell me and the audience a little bit about yourself?
Well, I've been married for about a year and a half, but I've been with my partner on and off for about almost 5 years. And within those...
Well, I want to stop you. I want to specify partner. Because when you say partner, some people would think it's maybe a female. So when you say partner, what type of partner?
My boyfriend.
Your husband.
My husband,
okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And so within the, say 3 or 4 years that we were together, it was a lot of infidelity. And so now that we're married, I mean, no, he no longer cheats anymore, but I'm still trying to get to like a solid ground to where we can build that strong foundation that we once had.
Okay.
Or maybe we didn't have, and I thought we had.
So you thought you had it in hand. So I want to back up for a second. If you don't mind, I want to backtrack. I want to talk about, what it was like before you got married. Because a lot of times, as females, it's kind of put in us since the time we were little kids that we are supposed to get married. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of times we overlook key factors with people. We jump into relationships and we think that a paper is going to change somebody, when in reality it's only a paper. Right. So my question to you is, were you looking at different things that you should have been looking at before you took those vows?
No. Before I got married, I didn't love myself. So I feel like I didn't give him standards or like really make him respect me compared to now. Like now I'm, coming into myself, starting to love myself more. So now I demand more. And she gives me that now, but in the past he didn't because I didn't demand it. And if I did and he didn't respect it, I still stayed.
So you felt like you settled in many different ways.
Exactly.
And so now, this is the thing with relationships, because I think a lot of times, because we're not taught to set standards and we're not taught to really love ourselves and our self-worth. Because I feel like when you really love yourself, you already have expectations that are put in place. So there's certain guys that when they approach you, you wouldn't even give the time of day because you already know what you're looking for. Right. And so now you marry this guy, and now you're in a relationship, and you're checking for the things and doing the things that you should have been doing before marriage, right? Exactly. But so now you're in this marriage, and now you're trying to figure out how to go back to that dating point. Because you're actually doing it backwards, if I can say it like that.
No, you're completely right.
So you're in this marriage, and now you're trying to go back to the starting point to rebuild. How does that look?
That's what I'm asking you.
So what is your question?
How to build a foundation after infidelity.
Okay. So my first question I would have to ask, have you forgiven him?
I don't know. How do you know if you've forgiven someone?
I feel like when you have really, really forgiven someone and you know that you're really over a situation is when because when infidelity occurs, it could be a song, it could be a sentence, it could be an outfit, it could be a movie that'll trigger a thought, that'll make you mad and go back to that day when you're really pissed off. Mm-hmm. And I feel like when those triggers come and it doesn't faze you, that's when I can say that you're really over. And you really may have forgiven him, but that doesn't mean because I forgive you, there's things that are not going to come up that are not going to hurt, because that's not being realistic. I can forgive someone, but something can happen and I can still, it's like the pain happened and hit me like it was yesterday. Right. But when I feel like you can really rebuild is when you get to the place where you come comfortable and stop allowing those things to take you back to that place. The reason why I say stop allowing those things to take you back to that place, let's say a song comes on and it reminds you of something, right? Then all of a sudden an argument, exactly. But that was 5 years ago, so why are you getting an attitude over a song today? Right. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Right. So how do I have a come to Jesus moment? Really accept it? Because maybe I haven't accepted it on my end.
Accepted what? The infidelity?
Exactly.
Well, I don't think you should ever accept the infidelity.
Okay, so what do I need to do to really just let it go?
This is my thing. how invested are you in your marriage? Because a lot of times, even in the counseling session, I can have 3 different couples and give them all different advice. I can see one couple and say, this is something you guys can work out and you could be successful in your marriage. And another couple, I can look at it and say, this is toxic, it's dysfunctional, and I think the best thing for you guys is to move your separate ways. Mm-hmm. So my question to you is, how invested are you? But it's not just about you. How invested is he in the relationship? How invested are both of you in the relationship before we even discuss anything else?
I would definitely say that we're both invested. But more so on my end, it's more of the trust factor, and then he gets frustrated because, he's like, oh, I'm trying to prove myself, and you still don't believe me. And then that kind of like turns into an argument, like, oh, well, why should I believe you, So we haven't moved past that. We haven't moved past the past.
Well, I think, to be honest with you, it would be unrealistic to say someone came in and robbed you and tomorrow you're going to invite them in your house. I think that takes time. Trust has to be built over time, but to break it is just within a second. But that doesn't mean because you said, I'm sorry, you said you're trying, every time you leave out the door, in the back of my mind, I'm not going to think you're cheating. Right. But how do you get past that? I think how do you get past that is with learning one another all over again, setting the communication. Because I feel like in a relationship, I don't care if it's your friend, your significant other, your child, your mom, dad, whoever. If there's no communication, there's no relationship, period. You can't have a relationship without communication. It's just not going to work. Mm-hmm. So I feel like in order to go back and to rebuild from the ground up, you guys have to learn each other all over again. You have to put your guard down, put the defenses down, and be open and honest with one another. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of times in relationships and marriages, people don't talk about the uncomfortable. Right. They will talk about things that, as long as it doesn't make the other person mad. But how is that really flourishing and nourishing your relationship? It's not. Mm-hmm. So you guys need to have those uncomfortable conversations to get past the past. Because until you have those conversations, you're not going to get past it. Right. So I guess my question now to you is, what different things or methods have you been trying to get past the past?
So recently we just started this open communication.
And what does that mean?
Pretty much, saying how we feel. If I feel uncomfortable with something, I'm just going to say it, and vice versa. Or if you want something out of me, I have him tell whatever he wants from me. I'm like, you need to say it because I'm not in my word, and vice versa. Right. So that's what we've really been working on.
And how is that working?
Honestly, I think it's working out well. Our arguments the conversation may start off heated and it may get a little bit, crazy, but in the end, I think things are being resolved.
So you feel like you guys are making leeway, like yes. You guys are getting somewhere. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing, as long as you feel like there's progress, then there's hope. Because, I think a lot of issues too in marriages is people stop dating. That's the one key factor that people forget to do.
That's our main problem.
Awesome. So you guys don't date a lot?
No, never.
And why is that?
Kids. Mostly kids. He has his kids almost every weekend. And I think that we just don't make it a big thing. I don't think that we make it a big deal, a priority actually. And I think that we both need to take responsibility for that. Because I don't make it I don't push him to go on dates with me and he doesn't do it either.
So I don't think it's a matter of pushing him to go on dates with you and vice versa. A lot of times in a family, when you have kids, priorities are different. They do, you do take a backseat sometimes to what your kids have going on because ultimately, when you have kids, anything can change at any given moment. You might have something planned, the kids get sick, whatever. But I always think it's imperative for couples to date because if you don't have that spark in your marriage, then there is no marriage. Because I always tell people this all the time. Your kids are going to grow up one day and they're going to leave and have their own family. And when they leave and they have their own family, what's left? What connection do you have with your mate? And if there is no connection, there is no relationship. So I feel like you should make it a point to make it that time, where you set up where you already have your babysitter or whatever put in place so you could spend that intimate time, because I think we all forget that at a point, but it has to be included in a relationship, period.
I agree with you. And I'm going to start making that a priority. Like, how many times do you think, like, with a family of five kids, like, how many times, realistically, dates is good for, like, a month?
I think that question depends on a couple because, each couple is different, each marriage is different, each relationship is different. How often do you feel like you need that to feel like you have that connection, going or maintaining that connection with your mate? Because I can ask 10 people that question, they all say, right. So it's not about what I think. What do you feel like is an adequate amount of dating that you would feel secure in where your relationship is getting the nourishment in that area that it needs?
I would say like maybe once a week.
Once a week? I mean, if that's what you feel like you need to get it back to that point, there's nothing wrong with that.
I think once a week would be good.
So 4 times a month?
Yeah, because I feel like he doesn't do anything either. So he's always in the house, and I'm always in the house, so why not once a week? We go out.
I think that would be great. That's something you would have to communicate with him, not financially, because a lot of times in marriage, it's not even the fact that they don't want to spend the time, it's the fact that they don't have the money to spend the time.
Right.
But I'm a firm believer, like, I could just go lay out a blanket in the park, and that's fine for me. A lot of people put money and emphasis on money, but you don't necessarily have to have money to spend time with your mate. Like, if I'm spending time with my husband, I don't want to go to the movies because we're watching the movie. How much time are we really spending together? We're not. You need that intimate conversation, that connection where it's just you and him and you're looking at each other and you're spending time, you're watching body movement. When we reach to go see a movie, that's not really spending quality time together. I don't think a lot of people understand that. Yeah, you went to see this movie, but how much time did you really enjoy having an intimate conversation with your mate? So those are the things I think you should look at too. Like, just to me, I love when me and my husband just go walking in the evening. We walk, we're exercising at the same time, and we're spending that intimate time, and we talk about so many different types of things, conversations come up. You get what I'm saying? So is it a date, or is it a date where you're actually connecting with your mate?
No, it's mostly connecting with my mate. I'm not really big on the money thing. So yeah, like we can go chill out at a park, or it doesn't really matter to me. I just want to have that one-on-one time.
Okay. And I want to go back because you had said, you want him, or something to the effect of him initiating the date. But in a marriage, it's the saying, happy wife, happy life. And I don't believe in that. I don't believe in that.
I'm like, yeah.
I don't believe in that. I feel like happy husband and wife, happy life.
You're right.
So just as much as we want our mates to put into it, we should be putting in that same effort. I'm a firm believer that you should never ask someone to do something that you're not willing to do yourself. So yes, he did cheat in the marriage, but at the same time, you both have to give 100%. I don't believe in 50-50. I believe in giving it your all. Each person gives 100. So yes, he messed up, but how much are you willing to fight for your marriage? Now, he wasn't fighting for the marriage. This would be a whole different conversation, but because he is, you have to be going just as hard as him if you're really, really committed and want to stay in your marriage.
Okay. And he didn't cheat in the marriage. It was before the marriage.
Right. So you just feel like, well, explain to me, because he didn't cheat in the marriage. He cheated before the marriage. But you knew he cheated before the marriage, right?
Right.
So at what point did it become a problem?
It became a problem once I started to find myself, and I noticed that I noticed that we didn't really have that connection that I felt like a husband and wife should. Like, I feel like when you get married, you're supposed to marry your best friend, your rock, and vice versa. I want him to feel the same way about me. But I think that when we got married, we just did it all wrong. Like, I don't think he was mentally ready, and I don't think I was either.
So do you feel like, because sometimes if there's infidelity involved, people will jump into a commitment. It's almost as an I'm sorry, or as an allegiance to like, I'll never do it again. But I think that is the wrong way to go about marriage.
Right.
Because if you're only doing it to prove a point or try to make someone think that you're not going to do something again, that's not the right mindset. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I see a lot of people do that. Like, they cheat on someone, let me go get a tattoo.
Right.
That you don't, but you're making permanent decisions, even though you can get a divorce. But
Right.
that's not the reason why we should enter into marriage.
Exactly.
So, do you feel like his mindset is there now?
Yeah, I definitely think that he is 110% committed to the marriage and to me. Before, I think he really only cared about himself, kind of. He was a little more selfish.
Will you allow him?
Exactly.
Because a lot of times, this is another thing with people that I'm big on. Because we always say, this person is treating me like this, and I don't understand why. It's not the person, it's us.
Exactly.
Because no one can do to you what you don't allow. If they're doing it, it's because we allowed them to do it. So I don't believe in, what he did to me. No, it's what you did to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Because why would you allow him to keep doing these things and stay? And just like you said, a lot of times it's because we don't have that self-love. We don't have self-esteem. We don't have that self-worth or that confidence instilled in us to say, check this out, I'm way better than that, and I'm not going to allow that, period, point blank. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
But now you're saying you've moved past that. So tell me, you're coming to Jesus moment, or however you wanted to phrase it, that you found yourself and said, you know what, this is not what I want. Right.
I would have to say it was around like our 1-year anniversary, and I just wasn't happy. Like, don't get me wrong, I love my husband and I love my family, but it wasn't like, I wasn't happy. So then I figured like, okay, if I'm not happy, I have to take that within myself. So I pretty much started really going to church, and I started reading the Bible, and then I just started loving myself and started doing things for me. Not looking for him to feed me, I started feeding myself. So that was like my coming to Jesus moment.
I like that though, how you said, you're coming to Jesus moment, because I think a lot of times we look for people to gratify us, mm-hmm. and that's not how a relationship is supposed to be. I'm with my husband because I want him, exactly. Not because I need him. And I feel like when you look for someone to fulfill you in certain areas, that's not a priority. You're with them because you need them. And I feel like when you're with a person when you need them, when you no longer need them, you don't want them.
Exactly.
So it should not be, okay, I need this person, but I want this person. I'm glad you said that, because a lot of people in relationships, they're in relationships, but it's not healthy. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? Because I love my husband dearly, but I could be alone without my husband, if that makes sense.
No, it makes perfect sense.
I don't need him to put a smile on my face. I don't need him to make me be happy. If he adds to that, thank God he does, but I could do that from within myself. You get what I'm saying?
That's kind of what happened in our marriage. Like, I started being okay with doing things on my own. Like, I don't need, because he was never there emotionally. So, me, I'm a very loving person, so I looked for that, like, oh, he doesn't hug me, like, can you kiss me, can you, with affection. And so once I started to become one within myself, I no longer needed that, and then he noticed the change in me, because I wasn't the glue to our relationship anymore. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think basically at first you were just needy, I need you, because you didn't see your own self-worth, and once you realize I'm enough for me, which is, there's nothing wrong with that. I do feel like your mate should bring some type of fulfillment to the table.
Definitely.
But your whole fulfillment, your whole reason for wanting to exist should not depend on the person you're with. That's dysfunctional.
Exactly. And I also told him that too. Like, I could tell that he was kind of losing his self, like, because he doesn't really go do anything. And I'm like, you need to find yourself also. Like, you're gonna be 50 years old one day and just be like, oh, all I ever did was sit at home with my kids and not making memories, and you might regret that. So, yeah, that's kind of.
So do you feel like you went from one extreme to cheating and just being out there to now just a complete homebody?
Yes.
Maybe he doesn't know how to find that common ground or that balance, because he feels like if he does go start doing stuff, he might end up back over here. Do you think that?
I don't know, maybe, but I'm not sure.
So did he ever specify?
He never specified. He just said that, he just likes to be at home.
Well, sometimes too, because maybe, I have seen with guys that have played the field per se, and they say they got that out their system or however, whatever they want to call it, and maybe now he's just dedicated to being a family man.
Yeah.
Which that's good, but I still think, again, I've been with my husband since I was 13. We've been married for 17 years, but I feel like you still need a life outside of the marriage. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly, and that's what we're working on actually together. Like I don't want to be the happiness. I don't want him to be like, oh, I need to be him or be around her to be happy or even
So you
vice
feel like
versa.
the roles reverse, he's you now?
No, I wouldn't go that far saying as like he's me, but I just feel like he lost himself in the whole transition.
Okay.
And I want him, you know, just me as a wife, I want my husband to create memories, not only with me, but just, you know, with his friends. I want him to live. At the end of the day, we only have one life. So, yeah.
Is he taking your advice?
No.
So what does he say in regards to living?
He says that he doesn't want to go out.
We'll be right back. And next up, we have Tyrika talking about her relationship. On Talk with Saniyyah today, we have Tyrika discussing how she is currently separated from her husband and learning how to rebuild herself as a single woman. How are you doing today, Tyrika?
Good, how are you?
I'm great. Tell me a little bit about yourself and share with the audience so they can know a good background story of who you are and what's going on.
Okay, I was married for 3 years. We separated last year. It's been about a year, and I'm trying to adjust to being a single mother of 3 and trying to transition into getting a divorce and, you know, getting over what happened and moving on. So,
Okay. So I want to jump in a little bit to ask you what led to the divorce.
a lot of things actually. It wasn't just one incident. We were staying with his mother. She didn't like me.
Okay.
I didn't really care for her either. So we bumped heads a lot. And with him, his culture is more so, he's Jamaican.
Okay.
So it's like his mom over everything. So when me and his mother, you know, we bumped heads, it was like, that's my mom. She's not gonna change. Not like you're my life. So family started coming around that I thought was family, wasn't really family, and me and his mom got into a big argument, and he decided then that it was over, and not even a week later, he was with his play cousin.
His play cousin.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to go back and then we're going to go to his play cousin because I know like in a lot of marriages and relationships, the in-laws they could be detrimental or they could be very helpful. And I know how hard it is in a marriage or in a relationship when you don't get along with your in-laws and, you know, your mate doesn't make that transition to choose and I don't want to say make, but put you in a situation to say, you know, you either respect my wife or then I'm not going to bring my wife around you. And it seems like in your case, he didn't. He just allowed you to be treated in a certain way. So how hard was that in your marriage?
Very hard because I wanted to get along with her because, you know, that was his mom. But I think from the gate, she didn't like me because we eloped. So I think she had some harsh feelings about that. And I kind of think she did want to like me, but for some reason, we just never really connected.
Right.
So it was hard. I felt like I was walking on eggshells because we were staying with her. Everything I did was wrong. The way I raised my kids, you know, so I just had to kind of harbor most of that anger or emotion because he didn't do nothing about it and it was her house. So I just felt very much like an outsider and I really secluded myself a lot.
Okay. Now let me ask you this because you said he started dating his play cousin, right?
Yes.
Did the family know that he was dating this girl?
I believe so.
So everybody was kind of in on it, you were kind of in the dark?
Yes.
And how did that make you feel?
Love. Love. Like I was a joke, probably, myself. Because I don't think they took marriage as serious as it should have been taken. And they allowed it to happen. Especially with his mother being a diehard Christian.
Oh, okay.
She allowed it to happen.
So when you say, because I have to be honest and I have to be real with you in everything that I do, because when you say allowed, her son is an adult man.
Right.
So what do you mean when you say
More so allowed her to have it in her house.
okay, so like not putting her foot down as a Christian, saying this is not acceptable, this is inappropriate, you're a grown man, you could do that, but not under my roof. Is that what, okay.
Right.
So I see what you're saying on that aspect.
Mm-hmm.
So you felt like she was just in on it instead of being the mother or the Christian person and saying that is wrong and that's off limits.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to go back because you said you felt like a joke, and a lot of times when there is infidelity in relationships, I don't know why we do as women or why women do. We take on this sense of we feel embarrassed, we feel like we carry the shame or we carry the guilt in reality when we didn't do anything. And so I just want to ask you, like, why do you feel like that you have to carry that guilt, that shame, that embarrassment when you did absolutely nothing wrong and he didn't?
I don't know, honestly. I can't even answer that. But I just know I make me feel embarrassed because I didn't see it happening. And it was happening right in front of my face. So more so me dealing with my feelings on the aspect, more so. And then how maybe the situation really is. So I'm feeling like if I'm feeling like this and I tell somebody the story, maybe they will feel like that too.
Feel like what?
Embarrassed for me.
But I don't see it as, and I can understand what you're saying because I've been in your situation. Well, not technically in your situation, but I get what you're saying. But when you say you felt embarrassed, I kind of want to, dive into that because you were just trusting your husband, So even though when you say it's in your face, I see it as this is my husband. I'm trusting him, and I trust him enough to respect me and love me to not ever do something like this to me or take me through this. So no, I'm not thinking the play cousin is really the girlfriend.
Right.
So when you say it was happening in my face, now if she was just jumping on his lap and kissing him and doing things like that in front of your face, with something like that going on,
No.
okay, so then I can say, okay, you're in denial, it's in your face. But if someone is around and they portray as, this is a family member, then why would I think something past that? That happened similar to me with another family member with my daughter, and I would have never thought that this person would have did that to my daughter. So I'm not, you understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So you trusting your husband, you would never fathom, okay, he's just going to be cheating with this girl and saying it's his cousin.
Right.
So I don't want you to take that on saying, I'm embarrassed. Why are you embarrassed? She should be embarrassed. He should be embarrassed. And the reason why I say they should be embarrassed because she knew you were his wife. What does that say about her and her character? If I'm an innocent bystander and I don't know what's going on, why should I carry the embarrassment or the shame or the guilt?
Good question. I don't know.
Have you ever sat with yourself by yourself and just thought, what am I embarrassed? See, a lot of times it's not the fact that it's something like, oh my God, I'm just embarrassed. When I see embarrassment, it's usually we care about what other people think and how they view us.
Right.
So how do you feel people are viewing you based on him cheating on you with this play cousin?
I get reactions like, girl, how did you not know? Like, oh, you had to have seen the signs, or it was right under your nose, or what wasn't you doing? Things like that for him to go to his cousin, and reactions.
So they
like
try
that.
to make you feel stupid.
Basically.
But, I would come back with them because there are times where there are people that they could be, I've seen it night and day, where they are like the perfect husband and a wife would never suspect, even though as women, I feel like we always have that intuition where something is just not right. But at the same time, the average person wouldn't expect for their husband, unless they're just real dirty, just to bring a female in the house and play like they're somebody else and be cheap. That's just a lifetime movie. That's not something that you would just really expect. So why isn't your response to them, well, that was my husband and I trusted him?
More so because I haven't dealt with him yet.
So that's really what the issue is. Because you really haven't dealt with the infidelity in the whole relationship. Do you feel like a failure? Because a lot of times when people get a divorce, even though it's the other party, is sometimes they feel like a failure, like I failed my marriage. And I want to ask you, why do you feel like a failure when you didn't contribute to him cheating?
Because I always ask myself, like, what did I not do? Or what is she doing that I didn't do?
So a comparison. And see, the thing about that, I see a lot of times when people do that, it's like, you know, it hurts because you're looking at this woman and it's, well, I'm not going to ask you that, but sometimes just looking at the woman, they don't even have to be attractive. And it's just like, well, dang, I was giving you everything, but what did this person provide to you that I couldn't do? But in reality, it doesn't have anything to do with you. The reason why it doesn't have anything to do with you, because that's his character. And see, a lot of times women, they'll say this, well, he cheated on you, he'll never do that to me, but if that's him, that's him. You get what I'm saying? The only person that can change him is him. So if he's a cheater, he's a cheater. So if a person steals, this is my philosophy in life. If you steal from that person, you'll steal from me. If you sleep with her boyfriend, you'll sleep with mine. There is no exemption because that is character. You don't pick and choose who you want to do it. You understand what I'm saying? So if you're a cheater, you're a cheater. And to go to that extent to cheat and say, this is my cousin, because this is what I respect. Don't cheat on me. If you don't want to be with me, just tell me. It's just that simple. You get what I'm saying? So that's the selfish person. I want to have my cake and I want to eat it too. I want to cheat and I want to be married. No, you have to choose which one you want to do. You understand what I'm saying? So it has nothing to do with you. And I think a lot of times as women, we take on, I'm not good enough. Then it goes into, I'm not pretty enough. My body's not big enough, small enough. So then we start trying to change us. So how are you feeling in this process? Do you feel like I want to change me or?
I just want to be a better me.
Okay.
Myself, because I felt like I lost myself trying to make him happy all the time. So I think it was a learning lesson more so than anything else because I really feel like I did lose myself
And
in
see,
the situation.
so you felt like before the cheating, you felt like you were losing yourself.
Definitely.
And see, this is my thing too in a relationship. If I have to change who I am to be with you, then you are not for me. Do you understand what I'm saying? If I have to change who I am for you, then I don't need to be with you. Because if you don't accept me, flaws and all, then you're not the man for me. And I think a lot of times we compromise to be in the presence of people. But you know what that stems from? Because we don't know who we are. Because when we know who we are, we don't compromise for other people. Have you ever seen a person like you see them with this group of people, you see them with this group of people, and every different group of people, they're different?
Right.
Because they're like a chameleon, they change. No, I'm serious. You see them every time you see them in a different setting, they're a different way.
Right.
Because they're adjusting to the people around you. But when you're comfortable and you know who you are, you make people adapt to you. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Not to say that you're controlling people, but this is, okay, I'm going to give you a prime example. I don't drink.
Okay.
And when people go out, that's what you want to do, that's fine, but I don't care what you're doing, I'm not going to drink. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
You call each other bees and hoes, that's what you do, I don't do that. So when people come around me, they already know Saniyyah does not do that. Don't call me that. I make them adjust to me because I know who I am and I won't settle for anything less. And if you can't come to that, I can't be around you. You understand what I'm saying? Not to say that you're above anybody, but I'm not beneath anyone either.
Right.
And I'm not going to change me for anyone. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
I know it's coming off a little strong.
No,
Okay.
that's good.
Now my question to you is, I'm asking you, when you see people jump from people to people and they change, are you comfortable with you in different settings, or are you comfortable with yourself in general?
Yes, now.
Now. Okay. And how long do you feel like you have become comfortable? How long has it been since you have become comfortable with yourself?
A couple of months.
Okay.
Not long.
And what do you feel like sparked that or brought on that aha moment, like, I am someone? I am, like, what do you think happened to make you get to that point?
Just being able to come back here with nothing.
Wait, were you guys in Jamaica?
We were in Atlanta.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Then I came back with absolutely nothing but my kids and my clothes.
Okay. So, did you move in with someone, or?
Yeah, with my mom. I moved in with my mom. I got a job. I got a place. I was able to get on my feet when I know they didn't think I was going to be able to do it.
So did you feel like that made you feel like, I'm showing you that I don't need you?
Exactly.
Okay. And see, a lot of times too, even though I think I commend you because a lot of women would have fell apart, and I commend you. But I know for me, when I was younger, and people told me that I wouldn't be this or I was stupid, it was always I was going to the next level to prove a point. And then I got to the place of, why do I keep trying to prove myself to people? I want to be at this place because this is who I am, regardless of what anyone thinks. So do you feel like you're still at the place of trying to show him, or do you really feel like it's genuine that I don't care what he thinks, I want to move and grow for myself?
A little bit of both. Because I've always wanted this, which it may not be a lot, but
If it's a lot to you, it's a lot.
right, and I used to always tell him, like, because we were doing this one, and I'm like, we need to get out, we need to get out. This is something I always wanted. I always seem to have lived with people.
Okay.
And I was like, I need to get out on my own for me.
Right.
You know, and my family. And just being able to do that kind of showed him, like, see, I can do it on my own. And I knew what I was talking about. You know, because he used to downplay a lot of stuff that I wanted or I thought was important.
Like what? Can you give me an example?
Like moving.
So he didn't want to move.
He said he did, but his actions.
He didn't want to.
No.
Because I don't listen to what people say, I watch their actions. You can tell me something all day long, but if your actions does not line up with what you're saying, it's just talk.
Right.
So he really didn't want to move because he was comfortable where he was at. It was beneficial.
Exactly.
So now you're here in this place, you're in California. And, well, let me ask you this, are you dating?
I am.
You are. And I'm not to mess you up. I'm sorry, but I'm not. The biggest thing, the biggest flaw, or the biggest problem that we do, or people do, is when they get out of a relationship, they jump right into another one. And if you have not dealt with those issues within here, you're just going to take this baggage and take it to the next relationship. And so your relationship is damaged before you even get there.
Right. My thing is, I'm not necessarily, my feelings are for him are done.
It's not the feelings.
It's the fact that I feel like I failed that I can't get over. Maybe, does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So it's not necessarily being with him, it's just not being hard on myself because I feel like I failed.
Right.
So,
And see, a lot of times one issue is never just one issue.
right.
And let me tell you what I mean when I say that. So you're in a marriage, and you're going through a divorce, and you feel like a failure. But I feel like it's just deeper than that marriage.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? Because I feel like how our marriage and our relationships play out in our adulthood has a lot to do with things we've dealt with in our childhood.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to ask you this. Before you even got in this marriage, did you feel fulfilled? Did you feel like you were enough, or did you feel like a failure?
A little bit of all three.
So you already had these feelings.
Yeah.
And he just exacerbated it once you guys got divorced or separated. And that's what I'm saying about the relationship. And when we are hurting and we just jump into another relationship and we haven't dealt with those issues, we're taking those same issues into the next relationship.
I get you.
You get what I'm saying? Because you can't have, this is what I always tell people. People say, I'm these guys, and I don't understand why I'm getting these guys, because I feel like we really attract what we are. A broken person attracts another broken person. Because let me tell you something, somebody that is healthy and functional, they don't want anything broken. You understand what I'm saying? So just like you're broken, I'm pretty sure he was broken. And if we went into an in-depth conversation with him in his childhood, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of things that would come up. So you're still hurting, and now you're dating. You haven't dealt with your own issues yet. How are you going to have a whole relationship?
I haven't thought about that. I'm actually taking it one day at a time.
But I think you should deal with yourself one day at a time before you even think about getting in a relationship. And this is why I say this. Have you ever seen people, a friend, family member, and they date the same guy, different name?
Yes, I have.
You want to know why?
Why?
Because they haven't dealt with their own issues. So they think when they go to Bobby, to Joe, to Billy, it's going to be something different. But they are attracting who they are. And because they're attracting with who they are, they keep getting the same results. If I already feel like I'm a failure, and I already feel like I'm not good enough, I'm going to attract that. Because let me tell you something, when you don't feel like you're not good enough and you don't have confidence, because I don't feel like I'm good enough, the guy over there that I should be dating, I don't even feel like he would even want me. So I settle for this. And then I'm in this type of relationship, and it's the same thing all over again. And that's why I say you need to work on you. And think about a relationship later, because it's just going to end up the same way until you deal with your inner me.
Okay. But how do I start? How does that start?
Let me tell you something. For me, and my situation is different, but hurt is hurt, pain is pain, rejection is rejection, low self-esteem is low self-esteem, no matter what form you put it in. But my biggest thing is what I had to do. When I found I wanted a new mindset, I changed the people that were around me. Friends and all. Because let me tell you something about this, and a lot of people don't believe this, but this is true. The term birds of a feather flock together is real. Look at a group of friends. Because if you're a positive person, you don't want to be around negative people. So if you show me your friends and they're all negative, ultimately that says something about you. If you got a whole group of friends and they're mostly promiscuous, that says something about you. You got a group of friends that are ratchet, 9 times out of 10 you are too. I'm serious. We find commonalities with people that we have something in common with. Start paying attention to people. What is the saying, you show me your friends, I'll show you your future? That is a true statement, a very true statement. We attract who we are in all aspects of our lives, in friends, in relationships, in jobs. If we don't have the confidence to feel like we can have, we settle. So how do you do that? It starts within here, and you change people around you. My thing, this is my pet thing in life. When I was younger, I always hung out with older people. And the reason why I always hung out with older people is because I felt like people that were my age, I didn't have anything in common with. Because I like wisdom. This is my pet peeve. When people just talk about realities and shows, you're not doing anything to provoke thought, you're boring me. And so I would go places with my husband, I'd be ready to go, and be like, you're not talking about anything. And it wasn't that I was being rude, but I don't want to sit and gossip. What is the basis of the conversation? I need to be fed mentally. But that's just my expectation. And if you're in a hurtful place and you're hurting, you need to be around people that are going to uplift you. So if I'm hurting and I got a girlfriend over here saying, girl, let's just go to the club, what is that doing? You understand how is that helping? You're going to be in a club with another dude in the same situation tomorrow. So what is that really doing for you? You need a friend that's around you say, you know what, let's go pray. Let's go to church. Let's get around some older positive women that can feed us, that can speak into us. You understand what I'm saying? You have to surround your people that want, this is my philosophy. I always surround myself with people that are where I'm at or where I want to be. I don't feel inferior when someone is somewhere where I want to be because they motivate me. You get what I'm saying? So if you know you want to be in a certain place as a woman, you need to find those type of women and start being around those type of women. Get under some women that can teach you. So that's where it starts. You need to change your surroundings.
What if your surroundings is mostly family?
So you gotta cut them off sometimes. And I'm not telling you this. I've done it, right? I've been there, done that. My family knows. My phone will ring nonstop with drama and Saniyyah, and I had to cut it off. And they already know. You know what they'll do? I don't want to sound negative. If you started off with that, you shouldn't even say it and let it fall off your lips. Right. You get what I'm saying? Sometimes you even have to cut family off too. Because they will hold you back. And sometimes we love people. It's like, oh, I don't want to let them go. And every time I've done that, it burned me. I didn't follow my first mind. I see this person is messy. I'm cool with them. 2 months later, my name is just a mess. And I'm mad at myself. Like, see, you saw this. So now when I see those type of things in people, I'm going to tell you straight up. I don't do this. I'm telling you from the go. Right. So if this is what you do, we can't, because this is not me. Do you understand what I'm saying? And if it comes to you but let me tell you something. Because it may come to you separating yourself from people, but once you change, they're not going to even want to be around you. Girl, like, let's go to the club, and you start saying, no, I might just want to go to church, or I might just want to do something positive. They're going to stop calling you because you're not doing what they want to do. We tend to click with people that have the same mindset. So what's your circle of friends look like? I just want to ask that question.
Kind of messy.
But it seems like
you feel like I can help them.
it's not your job. Let me tell you something, my biggest mistake. And as a therapist, and this is what made me go into the field, I thought I could help everybody. I thought I could help my family. I thought I could really change people. And I became exhausted, and I became bitter, and I became resentful. And I had to learn, just because I have the gift of helping, you cannot help someone that does not want to help themselves. Someone that wants help, they will seek it. If I'm doing more work to help you than you helping yourself, I'm not helping you, I'm enabling you, I'm hurting you.
Okay. Oh man.
A lot to think about.
It looks like I'm not gonna have
Sometimes it be like that.
Just one thing.
But sometimes it be like that. But I think it's beneficial. Because if you want a new you want a healthy you, then you need to surround yourself around new and healthy people. Now you can extend the olive branch and tell your friends they can join you along the ride. But if they don't want it, they're not going to join you. So that's their choice.
Okay. That sounds weird. So they cut themselves off.
They'll be kind of, it works. You know what I love? When I put myself in certain positions and I had to start showing that God would show me certain things that I didn't even have to tell people certain stuff. He would just do it. They would just fall off. I would pray this and then I would show my husband like, look, I didn't have to say anything. Because the way, this is my thing. What is your beliefs?
I have a lot of beliefs.
Is what? Do you believe in God?
I do.
Okay, because I don't like to push my beliefs on people, but I'm a firm believer of Jesus Christ, and I just have to say that. And I believe when you start to walk in a certain way, you don't have to cut people off because they will follow. Because everybody doesn't want it.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
And the only way you can get to healing is God. So you can even ask them to join, or they're not going to join. It's their choice.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. So as we wrap it up, with Talks with Saniyyah, when we come back, Lydia will join us. So stay tuned. So now we're back with Talk with Saniyyah. Joining me is Tyreeka and Lydia together. I'm glad you guys came on the show and shared your story. It was very inspirational to me. And, I thank you guys for coming on. And I just want to wrap it up and, ask you guys, how do you guys feel that you would move? First, I'm going to ask you, Tyreeka, we got in depth about you and, feeling like a failure in your whole separation and transitioning from being a married woman to a single woman. What do you feel like now moving forward that you need to do to be the woman that you aspire and want to be?
Change my surroundings.
You think it's going to be easy?
No.
Okay. What did you say?
No. Take it one day at a time.
One day at a time.
Definitely change my surroundings.
Okay, I'm glad to hear that because that's a huge step to becoming healed, becoming fulfilled, and becoming the woman that you want to be. So I'm glad that you're saying that. A lot of times people have unrealistic expectations and they think, they're just going to come up with this plan and do it. The easy part is recognizing it. The hardest part is action and doing it. But as long as you see the light at the end of the tunnel, I believe that you will get there. You're welcome. Lydia. So, how do you feel, now, because you have brought up something that I don't even know if you realize, because you said you wanted to date 4 times a week, and you said your husband doesn't want to do anything. So how does that play out?
I think that he definitely would. If I say, "Oh, babe, let's go on a date," he definitely would go. I mean, I don't see him just like.
Okay, I want to stop you.
Okay.
Because after like the fourth time you saying that, then you're gonna have a complaint. You're gonna say, "Why do I always have to initiate it?" He should be asking me exactly. So how do you come and find that common ground to basically where he's happy and you're happy?
You know what? I probably need to ask him. I need to ask him what makes him happy, because I think maybe I'm too focused on myself and my own happiness right now, instead of.
So you're being selfish.
Yeah. Instead of it being like a team effort, I think I'm more focused on, no, you need to please me because you hurt me, instead of it being, no, we're going to do this together.
Well, I'm going to tell you this, as long as you have that selfish, you need to please me, you're going to be back at square A all over again.
No,
it's a team effort. I'm glad that you recognize that. But being honest, I feel like in life, if you lie to yourself, you're never going to go anywhere. And I'm serious when I say this. Forget the cameras, forget everything. I'm serious when I say this. I'm a firm believer. I'm very honest with myself. I don't lie to myself. I'm very real with myself. And that's why I feel like I'm able to look at things and make a change. I mean, I may not run around and tell the whole world I don't like this about myself, but I recognize it, and when I do, I'll change it. Even if it's a conversation, I should have said that, and I'm not going to do that again. So being honest with yourself, and the fact that you're saying you are being selfish, which sometimes we do need to be selfish, just not in the sense that you're being selfish. I'm glad that you recognize that. So what are you going to do? What are you going to do to change it? We recognize it, but what are you going to do to change it?
I'm going to like look at it as a team effort instead of it only being about me.
Okay.
It needs to be about us.
Right. How it can benefit both you and him.
So yeah, I said I want to go out every week, but I never asked him, how many times would you like to go out? I'm like, no, you're going to take me out every week. That's how I feel, but you're right. I don't ever really take his feelings into consideration.
Just like he wasn't taking yours.
Exactly.
Yes. So I'm glad you guys joined me today. And if you could give any woman out there that is battling what you went through or what you're currently going through, I would say I want you to give them advice and look in the camera and tell them, some advice or, some feedback that you can give them that may help them in their journey.
Don't settle.
Right. And love yourself. Before you give it to anyone, I would always say definitely make sure you know who you are and you love yourself before you give it to that person.
And have kids?
Definitely.
No kids.
No, I love kids, but I feel like if you have a kid and you don't know who you are, how do you know a kid how to be
That's a whole other segment. I need some help with my parents.
A whole other segment. But until next time, as I always say, continue to break cycles.